Yo, this deck's low-key sick! What's going on, guys? This is Miasin and welcome to my Buster Blader combo video. I don't even know if I ever done a Buster Blader combo video before, but this is going to be an updated one, I guess. So I actually tried to put in much more effort into this one. So I will be showing you guys 4 combos, and I will be going super in-depth into every single one of them. So before this video starts, make sure you like and subscribe. Check me out on Twitch and Instagram. And with that being said, let's jump right into combo or play number 1. I mean, I'm literally using one single card, so I think it's pretty obvious. If you have Buster Whelp, you can search the prologue and then make Link Spider or Relinquish to Nemo or Striker Dragon just to get that Buster Whelp in the grave. It really has to be in the grave because otherwise you will not be able to use the graveyard effect of Memories, and Memories is going to be the card that you send with prologue alongside the Buster Blader monster that actually has a real effect. So the prologue actually summons Buster Dragon from your extra deck and it doesn't summon it properly. Therefore, it will actually die in the next end phase. Well, that actually has nothing to do with it. But you cannot actually revive it with card effects. So you have to synchro summon it properly if you want to be able to revive it with, let's say, Monster Reborn, for example. Which can actually work in your favor sometimes because it means that your opponent will also not be able to revive your Buster Dragon. This can kind of come up if people are playing Dark, the Link 2 Charmer monster, but whatever. Anyways, so you're going to be summoning your Buster Dragon, and you will be using the graveyard effect of Memory, so banish it alongside Buster Blader and a Dragon monster from your graveyard in order to summon the Buster Blader, the Dragon Destroy Swordsman. I don't even know their full name, I just know this is the Buster Blader fusion. So this is quite the disgusting log that you have on your opponent because Buster Dragon is almost a zombie world. It's a DNA surgery for dragon monsters, so every monster your opponent controls becomes dragon, and Buster Blader fusion actually really punishes your opponent for even summoning dragons or having dragons on the field. So it reads must be fusion summoned. That's kind of an issue. It's not even must first be special summoned, so fusion summoned rather. So you can never Monster Reborn it back, even if it was properly summoned. Cannot attack directly, gains 1000 attack and defense for each dragon monster your opponent controls, or is in the graveyard. That's gonna jump to a high number very fast. And then change all dragon monsters your opponent controls to defense position. Also, dragon monsters in your opponent's possession cannot activate their effects if this card attacks the defense position monster, piercing damage. So I think you already guessed it, but this lock is very similar to VFD or True King of All Calamities. Basically, any monster your opponent controls or summons whatever immediately goes to defense. Its type is changed to dragon, and it can never activate its effect. It doesn't negate the effect, therefore if your opponent has a monster with a continuous effect, that is still valid. But still, there's really almost no workaround to not even being able to activate your effect. So the fact that you can achieve this with only one single card is absolutely terrifying. So yeah, that's as small as it gets, but I'm going to show you guys more big, just actual juicy combos now. Alright, a comment that I get way too often is, but Yasin, what happens if you get a hand shopped? Well, with this kind of hand, even though we have some not really desirable cards, I mean, this is not the best card to draw, the Buster Blader, and Wizard Buster, I mean, not the best card, right? Look at this, we can actually still play around 2 Veilers. This is absolutely crazy. So the field spell is a double summon as a field spell. It's actually better to play than double summon itself. The only kind of issue is that it might actually lose to Mystical, Space Typhoon, Cosmic Cyclone, etc. But that's, I mean, it's not the end of the world, right? It's still better to have this kind of continuous effect that you gain every single turn rather than a one-of double summon that you use once and then it's all over. So you will start off by going normal summon Sage with Eyes of Blue. At this point, your opponent doesn't even know what deck you're playing. This really could be Blue Eyes, so it could search Effect Veiler, it could search the White Stone, so you could use Cards of Consonance, whatever. Most likely your opponent will Veiler. If he doesn't Veiler, what happens is that you search Effect Veiler of your own, and I mean, that's not too bad, right? But whatever, let's just say that it gets Effect Veilered, you can go activate the field spell, and then normal summon the Buster Whelp. So like I said, it's a double summon for a level 1 light tuner monster, so both Sage and Buster Whelp fit that bill pretty well. So you'll be going normal summon, and then you're getting Veilered again, so this time we do not have access to prologue. Our hand is a little worse, but do not worry, we can still play this out very well. So this time we're actually going to be making a Link 2 monster, Protector Whelp. So this is a Foolish Burial for any Destruction Sword card, or I think even a Buster Blader, and then you can special summon Buster Blader from your hand. So even if you do not have Buster Blader in your hand, you can still legally use the Foolishing effect of this card. So yeah, you will be Foolishing for Memories, which has the graveyard effect to summon the Buster Blader fusion monster, and we will be summoning the Buster Blader level 7 monster from our hand. And now, since we have a Buster Blader on the field, we can use the graveyard effect of the Protector Whelp. Sorry, is that Protector Whelp? No, Buster Whelp, sorry. This is the Protector Whelp. So by discarding one Destruction Sword card from your hand to the graveyard, you can revive back Buster Whelp from your grave, and it doesn't really have, like, actually an effect on the field, so it's only when it's normal summoned, and either way, I think it negates its effect, but whatever. You will now be making Needle Fiber using that because it's a tuner, and the Protector Whelp, so summon this card. Very fun Dragon Buster Destruction Sword. This is the card that will lock our opponent's extra deck, and you will be making a Buster Dragon using these two monsters. So this is already a very nice board, and it's just about to get better. So the fact that we're doing all this through two Veilers is already pretty insane. So Buster Dragon is a monster reborn for Buster Blader, only while you do not control a Buster Blader already, and it is a soft once per turn. On your turn only, so it's not a quick effect. Anyways, we can now pass turn on this. It's already good enough. Our opponent can draw into whatever or not draw. Activate multi-roll on resolution, not chaining to it. Very important. But yeah, on resolution, you will tag out the Needle Fiber for Formula Synchron. The reason why I said on resolution and not directly chained to it is because Formula Synchron is an optional one effect to draw one card. And if it is not the last thing to happen, the summon, it will not be drawing a card, because if the last thing to happen is the activation of multi-roll, and Formula Synchron was summoned in Chainlink 2 in a way, then you will just miss out on a free draw, so you might as well just play it out correctly and do it on resolution. So draw one card, and then also on resolution, not chaining directly, because then if you get hit by, like, let's say Widow Anchor, for example, you are missing out on two things. Whereas if your opponent Widow Anchors you on the draw, then you can chain Formula Synchron to Quick Sync. So always try to make sure that you have as much control on the game as possible. So on resolution, you will be Quick Syncing into Virtual World QB Shenshen. This is like a baby Dark Law for spells and traps and even monsters, but only from the field. So anything from the hand and deck that doesn't get affected by the Shenshen. And it also has a really neat effect in the graveyard, so you can revive it back from the grave by banishing two other monsters from the graveyard with different original types and attributes. This should be relatively easy to achieve. You're not done yet, so Graveyard Effect of Memories, banish it alongside the Buster Blader and a dragon such as Protector Whelp. Summon your Buster Blader Fusion, and you will be using the effect of Buster Dragon, so equip the Dragon Buster Destruction Sword from your graveyard to it. This is ridiculous. We have a Zombie World for Dragons, a gigantic floodgate that literally puts all of our opponent's monsters into defense. My opponent cannot activate effect of monsters on the field, and he cannot summon from the extra deck, and on top of that there's Shenshen, and I drew one card, and I did it through two Veilers. And my hand wasn't even that great. Like, it was good, but it wasn't, like, unfair degenerate tier 0. So now, regardless of what my opponent does, multi-roll pop area 0. That's a nice deck you got there. It doesn't even go to the graveyard, it gets banished. So doesn't trigger to summon Ray. And even if you go engage to search Ray, you're losing your engage, you never have cards in the grave, and you can't even summon Hayate into Gagari into whatever. So this is way more than enough for you to win. And as a little added bonus, the Buster Dragon was correctly synchro summoned. It was not cheated out with Prologue. That means that it will not die during the next end phase, and we can literally just keep this lock forever. So this is ridiculous. Like, there's pretty much nothing your opponent can do to out this. And again, you're generating resources from your graveyard with the graveyard effects of your Buster Whelp. You can special summon it, and then you can, I think, tribute it to revive back, whatever. There's other graveyard effects. You can also special summon the Dragon Buster Destruction Sword, make the Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss, and then when you deal damage, you get to revive back a tuner monster from your grave. So many plays that you can actually do. This deck is pretty interesting. Another play that you could do is summon the Dragon Buster Destruction Sword and sync with a Shenshen in order to make Baroness, pop a card, and then you have an Omni Negate. So again, the world is your oyster. This deck is pretty cool when it gets its engine going. So that's it for combo number 2. Let's get into combo number 3 now. Combo number 3 is essentially me drawing out a random hand and just playing it out against nobody. So, assuming that you do not get interrupted, look at what you can do with this hand. It's pretty cool. So, activate Field Spell, extra normal summon for Sage with Eyes of Blue, and then you are going to be searching for the Buster Whelp, and you will be normal summoning it to search the Prologue, make the Christian Needle Fiber, not the Protector Whelp this time, summon Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. This is actually a pretty interesting card that you can summon with Needle Fiber, because this card reads that the tuner monster that you summon this turn cannot activate its effect, but only this turn. So, when we pass to our next turn, as you can see, this is our own turn, it says cannot activate its effect, but when we pass on our opponent's turn, what will happen is that the Ghost Ogre can actually activate its effect, and unlike Ash and its other Ghost Sisters, Ghost Ogre can be used on the field. It's not just a hand trap, it's also a field trap, if that makes any sense. Yeah, Ghost Ogre is one of your interruptions in a way, but of course we have way more than that. So Prologue into the Buster Dragon, and then Graveyard Effect of Memory, so summon the Buster Blader Fusion, and this is a pretty badass move. So you're going to be going Needle Fiber for shooting a Riser Dragon, and you will be Foolishing for Dragon Buster Destruction Sword. Now, because of the drawback of shooting Riser Dragon, you cannot activate the effect of monsters with the same name as the sent monster had in the graveyard. However, that doesn't stop us from using the card, so we can still go Buster Dragon, equip the Dragon Buster Destruction Sword from your graveyard to the Buster Blader, and even if we never went into Protector Whelp or any of that, we still have access to the Buster Lock with a huge, gigantic, disgusting log that everybody hates playing against, and Ghost Ogre with shooting Riser and 2 other back rows, so you get to banish every single monster your opponent controls when you have a fusion monster that lists Buster Blader as fusion material. And we have an Imperm just because why not, right? Pretty disgusting indeed. So that's it for combo number 3. Let's get into the 4th and final combo now. Before I go any further into this combo, please, if you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe. It really changes everything for me. And now let's proceed. So Field Spell plus double Buster Whelp. Sorry, I keep messing it up. This is infinitely better than you think because unlike a lot of normal summon cards in Yu-Gi-Oh!, this, for some reason, is not a once per turn on normal summon. So if you have 2 copies with a field spell, as long as you have more normal summons, you can keep searching again and again and again and again. Pretty disgusting. So we can actually go double normal summon the Buster Whelp and then get 2 searches. So search number 1 is always the Prologue. Always make sure that you have it. So even if you get Nibiru'd, whatever. I mean, you still have the Buster Lock, so it doesn't really change anything. Anyways, the second one is going to be searching this card, this weird Wizard Buster Destruction Sword. It actually does have an effect just like Dragon Buster Destruction Sword, but this one, unlike, you know, its counterpart, it doesn't stop your opponent from summoning from the extra deck. Instead of that, it stops your opponent's monster effect in the graveyard from triggering. So it's a little Dweller. It's a little worse because spells and traps can still trigger. So against Eldritch and True Draco, it's not ideal. But against so many other decks that use, like, I don't know, Fairy Tail, Snow, Tenyies, etc., it's not too bad. Anyways, you will be making the Protector Whelp. The reason why we are prioritizing this card and not Needle Fiber right now is because we have the Buster Blader monster in our hand. However, if we didn't have that, then the card that you are always trying to go for is Needle Fiber. However, I will say that if you have double Buster Whelp, another very valid option would be going into Hieratic Seal. However, I do not recommend that. I actually think Needle Fiber is infinitely better for what we are trying to achieve, and there are so many reasons for that. Anyways, just believe me on that. Everything will be explained in due time. So you will be Foolishing for the memories in order to summon your Buster Blader from your hand, and you will be going Graveyard Effect of Buster Blader, Buster Whelp, discard a Destruction Sword card from your hand to the grave, so Wizard Buster Destruction Sword, revive it back, and then make Needle Fiber, summon the Buster Lock, our favorite card, and you will be making Buster Dragon again, properly summon Buster Dragon. This does not die, so you get to keep it eternally, basically. And then revive back your Buster Blader monster, and you're going to be just setting 1 card, and that's it, that's all. On our opponent's turn, Needle Fiber is going to tag out onto Formula Synchron, draw 1 card, and then quick sync. Not yet, actually. Your Prologue doesn't even have to send another memories. You have so much money that you can afford to send this card Karma instead, which is like a triple DD Crow, and in the graveyard, it still has a utility because by discarding 1 Destruction Sword card, you can recycle it back to the hand. A lot of Buster Blader cards actually have that effect, by the way. Anyways, the Prologue is going to be summoning another Buster Dragon, and now we will be going Quick Sync into Shen Shen, and Graveyard Effect of Memory, summon Buster Blader Fusion, and now Buster Dragon is going to be using its effect twice, because like I said, it is a soft once per turn, so if you have multiple Buster Dragons, you can still use the effect more than 1 time, so equip your Buster Blader Fusion with these 2 monsters, so our opponent is beyond screwed. Look at how ridiculous this is, man. This is way too much. So our opponent cannot summon from the extra deck. Every single monster our opponent controls cannot activate their effects and is changed into defense. And on top of that, effects in the graveyard are negated for monsters. We got a draw with Needle Fiber, Formula Synchron rather. We have, Prologue, that was the draw actually. I think the Ash was already there. And we have Shen Shen, which is a baby Dark Law. Next turn, our OTK follow-up is going to be absolute insanity, because like I said, we can special summon that Dragon Buster Destruction Sword, make Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss, and we can even use the equipped effect of Wizard Buster Destruction Sword, so send it to the graveyard and then recycle back a Destruction Sword monster in your grave, which would be the Buster Whelp, and then you can go normal summon again, Surge the Flash, and then for next turn you get to banish every single monster our opponent controls, And you can also use that monster, or rather the Dragon Destruction Sword with the Shen in order to, like I said, make Baroness, pop cards, negates, and even Monster Reborn on your opponent's standby phase. So this deck is freaking awesome. If you were able to learn or enjoy, make sure you like and subscribe to this channel. I would really appreciate that a lot. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.